So my intention today is to share with you some breathing practices, maybe 2 or 3 or 4, we'll see what time allows, that we can use, that we can have a little handy toolbox to use these techniques whenever we're feeling agitated, stressed, activated, overwhelmed, because they're very quick remedies to all of that to help us stay grounded and settled and calm so that we can operate from that place. How does that sound? Sound good? Okay.
I have a question. Just like when your kids come and trigger you, and then you're not working from a, parenting platform, you're working from your issues and triggers and whatever. How do you gather your thoughts again to parent them at that moment when you're dysregulated?
Exactly, right? I know. So some of these tools that I'm going to share with you are really perfect, are going to perfectly answer that question because, right, when we're dysregulated, we're not operating from that place of clarity and calm and resilience and support. We're in our fight flight. So yeah, all of these tools actually that I'm going to share with you, any one of them will help you with that. So what you'll do is just notice first, oh, here I am in this agitated, activated state. Let me take a minute. Some of them can just take a minute. Like you can just say, give me 1 second, or, give me 1 minute. And you just, right there where you are, you can do these breathing techniques. And instantly you'll feel yourself calm down, access that deeper knowledge, right? And then you can address the situation. I mean, a pause is always a good thing, right? Reacting tends to not be in our best interest, but pausing and then responding calmly is usually a much healthier option. So taking that moment to pause to practice one of these breathing techniques that again can happen as quickly as 30 seconds even perhaps. And then you're going to respond from a calmer, more balanced state. So yeah, any of these that I'm going to share. And I saw somebody put in the chat how to sleep better. Right. I'll definitely give you 1 or 2 that are going to help with sleep. I have a go-to breathing technique that I do anytime I have trouble sleeping, and it always helps. I actually also teach a course about sleeping, and so there's a lot of different things you can do for sleep. Firstly, I want you all to get comfortable. Whether you're sitting or lying down doesn't really matter, but when we work with the breath, we want the spine just to be free. So if you're seated, sit up tall without strain. You can even lean back, just so there's no kinks, you're not twisted or something. The breath can flow more freely that way. And then just feel free to close your eyes. I'm not going to do anything you need to see right now. And as you close your eyes, instantly you limit all these visual distractions that are happening around you. And it gives you an opportunity just to look inside and tune in, soften the muscles around the eyes. And then just take a moment to feel whatever's beneath you so that you feel grounded, right? Whenever we work with the breath or meditation, we want to first feel grounded and supported, steady and safe, especially when the eyes are closed. Now, if you're in a place that you can't close your eyes, that's okay. Just soften your gaze. Good. And then feeling the weight of the body. So if you're in a situation with your kid, for instance, and you want to do this, all you do is you feel your feet on the floor. Let yourself ground into the earth and this moment in your body. So whenever we're agitated, our minds are sort of racing to multiple places. Whenever we come right into our bodies and ground in, we're in the present moment. The body can't be in the past or future. So let yourself settle here into your body, feeling any physical sensations that arise, just checking in. And then notice the way that your breath is flowing naturally. If it's possible, close your mouth, soften the jaw though, and let the breath just flow in and out of your nose and notice its pace, notice its quality. Notice if you want to smooth it out, because most likely you will. And then as you just notice your breath, so first we're just going to begin with awareness. Notice your breath. Notice where you feel it in your body. When we're stressed, the breath is higher up in the chest and a little shorter. When we're in a more relaxed state, we can feel the movement of our belly, the abdomen expanding on the in-breath and returning back inward on the out-breath. So see if you can start to do that a little bit, letting your belly get a little bigger as you breathe in without forcing it. And it'll naturally narrow back as you breathe out. And then as you just connect to your breath and start to feel it in your body, already you might start to feel a little calmer. And then I want to just do a little thought experiment. I want you to bring to mind something that maybe happened recently that agitated you. It doesn't have to be a huge stressor, but just something that triggered you a little bit. And as you bring that to mind, notice how it changes the way you're breathing. Because again, a thought changes our physiology, changes our breathing, changes our nervous system response. So a triggering thought, you might already feel the breath higher up in the chest. It might get a little shorter. So just so that you know that, right? And that knowledge is so important. So we're going to come back now into the body, let go of that triggering thought. Smooth out your breath. Let your belly expand as you breathe in. Return back as you breathe out. They call this diaphragmatic breathing. And then begin to balance the breath. Let the inhales maybe go to a count of 3 if that's comfortable, and the exhales to a count of 3 if that's comfortable. And maybe you can stretch it to a count of 4, both on the inhalation and on the exhalation. This balances the nervous system. So as you do this, I'm just going to explain it. Each time we breathe in, we activate the sympathetic part of the nervous system. The heart rate increases. Each time we breathe out, we activate the parasympathetic part of the nervous system. Rest and relax, the heart rate decreases. So by making the breath even, we balance the nervous system, like a little seesaw. Yeah, good. And now if you can stretch it to a count of 5, go for it. Or even 6, they call this coherent breathing. It's very healthy. If that creates stress, you dial it back to 3 or 4. And just play with that for a moment. Keeping the face relaxed, the shoulders soft, the jaw easy, the breath flowing smoothly in and out of your nose. So already these are 2 quick, simple techniques. Diaphragmatic breathing, balanced breathing. And now we're going to take it a little deeper. So dialing it back maybe to a 4 count if you did increase it. And then see if, as you breathe out, you can lengthen the exhale. So maybe the inhale is the count of 4. But maybe the exhale goes to a count of 5. And then maybe on the next cycle, 6. And see how long you can make each exhalation, allowing yourself just to really settle into the earth, to release tension. So as the exhales are longer than the inhales, the heart rate slows down more. We increase what's called heart rate variability. We increase carbon dioxide, which pushes more oxygen into the cells, which gives us better focus. We calm down when the exhales are longer than the inhales. If you can double the exhale count, go for it. That's actually a great technique for sleeping. When the exhales are longer, a lot longer than the inhales, at least double in length, the heart rate slows, the nervous system instantly goes into that parasympathetic state. Rest, heal, right? That's what we want for sleep. Often when we're trying to sleep, we're activated, the thoughts are spinning, and it's really hard to stop that when the body is in fight flight, even a low level of fight flight. So these longer exhales help to bring the body, the nervous system, into rest and ease and healing mode so that the mind, the thought stream slows down. And then it's easier to drop into sleep. So with each exhale, see if you can relax your muscles, checking in the eyes, maybe the forehead, even the hands. Where are you clenching or holding that you can let go? So we'll just do it for about 1 more minute. You can think of just sort of lingering at the bottom of those exhales. Maybe the breath isn't even emptying anymore, but you can energetically or mentally, in a way, keep exhaling. Exhaling stress, exhaling any repetitive thoughts, any images of the past or future, and just settling into this moment. Good. Okay. And now gently just come back. If you want to open your eyes, you can open your eyes. I sometimes like to circle around my shoulders, move my head, just helping to release any tension that does tend to accumulate. And just take a moment here to notice how that felt, how you're feeling. Maybe things shifted a little bit or a lot. Sometimes when you're not used to altering or working with the breath, it can create a little bit of anxiety or agitation. And that's okay. That's only in the beginning. It's like breaking any habit. Sometimes there's resistance. So just know that, acknowledge that if that's the case. And know that the more you practice some of these techniques, the easier they become. I want to share with you guys 2 more breathing practices if we have time. I'm going to just continue on giving you a couple more tools to have handy in your little toolbox. So anytime you're having trouble sleeping, you're in an agitated state, you're in traffic, you're ready to yell at your kids, you can lengthen your exhalation, maybe just 1, 2, or 3 times, and drop into parasympathetic nervous system. Drop out of fight flight. Okay, so that's a technique that you can use. Nobody even needs to know you're doing it, right? It's an inside job. Nobody needs to know, right? You can do it anywhere, anytime. We used to hear, and maybe you've said it to your kids, I know I used to, when they're agitated, we used to think and say to people, just take a deep breath, right? We've all heard that. You think taking a deep breath is going to calm you down. It's not. It's actually the opposite. Taking a deep breath in, if you recall, I just explained, a deep breath in activates our fight flight response, activates the sympathetic part of our nervous system. The heart rate increases. Anytime anybody's experiencing anxiety, that's the worst advice. Take a deep breath. No. Slow down and lengthen your exhale instead. The in-breath doesn't have to be big. We don't want it to be too big, but the out-breath, we want that to be long and smooth. And you can feel that difference once you start working with the breath. So I just wanted to share that really simple tip because it's a profound one. It shifts our perspective. Okay, so that was an important point I wanted to make. Now, the next one that I want to teach you, hopefully you can do it. Hopefully it's okay that you make a little sound, a little noise. I don't know if you guys have heard about the benefits of humming, but they are many. So if you think about it, when you hum, it's always an exhale. You can't hum on an inhale. It just isn't possible. When you hum, the mouth is closed, the breath exits through the nose, and it often helps to make the breath longer, right? So it naturally creates that long exhalation. But it also does a couple more things. Whenever we breathe through the nose, we increase the nitric oxide in our system, in our blood. And nitric oxide is a vasodilator, which means it helps the blood to flow more freely. It's very good for our cardiovascular system, our respiratory system, our ability to focus. And also, the humming activates and stimulates the third eye, which is where intuition lives, and the thyroid, which is really good for our hormones to keep a healthy thyroid. So, really, a really great breathing practice. Now, this one, maybe you can't do so secretively. Unless you're humming a song, nobody needs to know that you're not, right? You can hum any tune you want. So, we're going to practice humming just for a minute or two and feel the effects of it. Okay. So again, we don't have to take a deep inhale, but we do want enough of an inhale so that we can take a nice long hum. So settle back into your seat. Feel free to close your eyes or keep them open softly, up to you. And together through the nose, let's breathe in and then hum. Mm. And let's do it a few more times. Breathing in just easily. And a long hum, any frequency. Mm. Again, so your pace might be different than mine. Mm. Keep going. Often Zoom doesn't record the hum, so I don't know if you're hearing mine, and that's okay. I want you to hear yours. Doesn't have to sound pretty, but see if you can feel the vibration in your larynx, your throat, and possibly in your third eye. There's a pranayama practice in yoga called Brahmari, where you can close your ears. You can also cover your eyes. And when you close your ears and hum, you really feel that vibration in your head. So feel free to try it if you want to. It's Brahmari, buzzing bee. So feel free to try that and just notice the effect. And just make those exhale hums really long, really relaxing, really soothing. Mm. You can play with higher pitched or lower pitched hums. Try closing your ears. There's this, I forget what this little flap is called. You can just press it against the opening. Try it. Right. No, I realize if you have your ears covered and your eyes closed, you can't hear me or see me. So hopefully you guys are coming back. So take a moment here just to feel the effects of that. So anytime we breathe through the nose, we increase nitric oxide. But when we hum, it increases by, they say, by 15-fold because it's activating also the nasal passages where it is derived from. So it's so healthy for your system to hum. And in yoga, sometimes we om, right? And it has the same effect. The om is a hum, just so you know. Okay. Any questions about that? That's a great one to practice with your kids, to practice anytime. And you may have noticed while you were doing that, your thoughts weren't elsewhere, right? It really focuses your attention on the breath, on the sound, right? You're using your sensory experience of sound and breath to really be here and now in your body. So wonderful tool. It's one of my very favorites. And it's another one you can use at night to go to sleep because it helps you quickly drop into that parasympathetic, relaxed state. So you can hum a tune, you can make it sort of secretive. So that's a great one. Okay, I'm going to move on to the last one I want to share with you guys today, which is maybe you've heard of it. It's been studied extensively at Stanford. I don't know if any of you follow Andrew Huberman. Maybe you do. He's a wonderful neuroscientist at Stanford. And this one, they say, is one of the quickest ways to drop into a relaxed state. And it's called the physiological sigh. It's also sometimes called the physiological cyclical sigh when you do it on repeat. And even 3 times is enough. Even 1 time is enough, but 3 times is sort of optimal. And then you can do it much longer than that. But to really drop into that more grounded, steady state. So if you think about when babies cry or when we cry, there's a lot of right, which is activating, but we're also settling and calming our system. So the physiological sigh is a little different than any of the others that I've taught. What we do, I'll tell you first, and then we'll practice it. We do take a big inhale, a really big inhale, as much as we comfortably can, and then we pause for just a moment. And then this is all through the nose. And then we sniff in a little extra blast of air. And then we open our mouths and we sigh out. Ah. I mean, sighing is really a helpful thing for our bodies. We make that sound, the nervous system relaxes. So it's a little counterintuitive that we'd first do a big inhale, but it's one that's been researched and studied and very effective. Also, just so you know, that little extra blast of air after the inhale opens up the alveoli in our lungs, the little air sacs that sometimes don't get stimulated. So it pushes a lot more oxygen into our cells, and it's very good for our whole system. And then a really long sigh out audibly, and there's the long exhale. So always, the reason I guess it works so well, one of the reasons is because we still have that long, audible sigh. And before we practice it, I'll just say that we sigh all the time. In fact, I think it's like every 5 minutes or something, we naturally sigh. We just don't notice it because it's often not audible, but that's how our bodies breathe. It's just a natural thing because it helps our heart rate, our cardiovascular system, our respiratory system. It gives a little sort of like a jump start, I guess you could say. It's just a natural thing that we do that we never used to know, but we do it. And when we accentuate it and lengthen it, it helps even more. Okay, so let's try it. Again, we'll sit comfortably. Nice long spine so the breath flows freely. So remember, it's through the nose, a big inhale, filling the belly, filling the chest even. Then we pause momentarily. We take an extra quick blast, and then we open the mouth and audibly sigh. Okay, so let's empty the breath here, and we will begin. So through the nose, a nice full long in-breath. Pause in that fullness, add a blast. Open the mouth and sigh. You might feel your shoulders drop, feel yourself land in your seat, and keep emptying completely. And then we'll do it again. Inhale, pause, add a blast, sigh. Keep emptying, let all the breath exit so completely. And one more time. Deep inhale, pause, add a blast, open the mouth. And then once you're empty, just notice how it feels. If you want to do it again, you're muted, you can, certainly. So that is one really effective one. Anytime, like Johanna was asking earlier, if you're activated by your kids or you're activated by anything, a long sigh. And you can make it a little less exaggerated, like maybe nobody needs to know. I walk around sighing all the time now because I do these practices so often and my body just wants it. Because there's a lot that is activating and agitating us in the world these days. So sighing is a really great tool to use. Okay, so those are the ones I wanted to share with you guys today. Those are like my favorite breathing practices that I rely upon when I'm noticing stress creep in, because again, it creeps in just from a simple thought. And you can shift your state quite quickly by shifting the way that you breathe, because the breath is the link between the body and the mind. As soon as we're stressed, the breath gets short. As soon as we lengthen that breath, stress can't be in our system if the breath is long and smooth. So it's like a little remote control that we have to bring us into a relaxed state anytime we want it. Now, there's a lot of other techniques, like we can just meditate and come into our different senses, and we can do all different types of breathing practices. There are hundreds, all different types of meditations. Gratitude is great, on and on it goes. So, yeah, if you're interested in learning more, I'm available. I teach this stuff. It's what I do. Like I was saying earlier, I teach yoga, meditation, sound, breath, healing, all kinds of stuff. I have a website. You can check it out. I can put the link in it if you want. I actually teach a 30-day course to help people establish a steady meditation practice that's breath-based, because I've been practicing yoga for like 35 years, and it helps so much because of all these things. We breathe in yoga, we're in our bodies in yoga, we're present, all the good things. But for me, it never lasted beyond the yoga mat until I started meditating every day. Then it just shifted my life. Like anything we practice every day becomes habitual, right? And so I'm just able to not be as anxious. I'm able to be calmer, more steady, more grounded from a daily meditation practice. So I put together a little course that can help people, anybody that wants to establish a daily meditation practice.
I'm curious about your 30 day, because I know, just so the group knows, how I met you was that you would teach yoga down the street from where I lived.
Mhm.
And I went through my emails, and like I found you just at the perfect time when I was having like a nervous breakdown.
Oh,
And within minutes, you helped me regulate my nervous system and calm down and get back to being grounded. And so it definitely works. I think my problem is, and for people that have like anxiety and depression and things like that, it's really hard to do it on your own, which
Yeah.
is why I love, yeah, which is why I wanted to do this as a group. So your 30-day program, is there a way to do that in a group setting so it's not one-on-one? Because sometimes the power of being surrounded by other people that are also suffering is empowering.
It's so true. I mean, we don't all need, but we all benefit from support. It's so true. So it's pre-recorded and you get a video every day in your email box. It's like
Oh,
5 minutes a
perfect.
day. So there's that, but it is individualized. And from so far, the people that have gone through it, a lot of the feedback I have gotten is that what if I miss a day? Because it's hard to stay consistent. And this is, a course that helps you stay consistent, but it's so hard, you're right, when people are just doing it on their own. So next time I'm going to set it up so that we start on a certain day, we start together, we meet every week, and I'm just going to add in like once a week group calls to keep us on track and to do parts of it together and add more stuff. So I haven't done that yet, but if we have a group, I can do that anytime. I haven't been promoting this course at all. I made it, it's on my website, and I just mention it here and there, and people sign up here and there, but I'm gonna that's something I'm working on to market it, promote it so that we can gather a group and then I can also add live sessions in. So if you're interested and you want to help me gather
Yeah,
a group, I can start it sooner. But
I would love to do that. But
yeah,
my
yeah.
second part on that is, could there be a group for students that some students are having a harder time after the fires and losing
Mhm.
friends, losing their homes, and just and reality. Um, and it would be different if the kids feel safe amongst themselves as opposed to being next to their mom. Um, is that something that's possible for kids that are suffering or needing to learn how to manage their emotions, which right now are pretty intense just because of their age and reality?
I know, I know. I mean, is there nothing like this taught in the school? There's no
I mean,
yoga, breathing, meditation.
I do party book, and it would be like something that, again, like this, that I introduce. I
Hmm.
think there is a course or a foundation called Bianca where kids can go into a room and they are helped. But these kids have grown up with Zoom, even though we're all anti against it learning, but sometimes in the comfort of their own home, even with their cameras off, but being vulnerable, it's really hard to walk into a room. So maybe in the setting of Zoom,
Hmm.
I don't know, just I think every outlet, because not everything fits for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I would definitely entertain and love to help with because I really do believe if we all knew this stuff, if our kids knew how to regulate their nervous systems early, like even earlier, even elementary age, they would just manage life so much better. Everything would be the world would be better if everybody knew this stuff. In some countries they do. So, yeah, there's so much anxiety right now for us, but also for these kids. Social media, all of it is just too much. And yeah, I think it would be great. I don't have something like that in place, but I'd be interested in helping.
Thank you so much. I will definitely keep in touch with you and try to bring something like that to Pali High and my Pali Elementary kids. And thank you so much. I honestly already feel calmer.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So if anybody wants to reach out for me for anything, let me know. I'm here to help and serve and support whatever you need. Is there a minimum amount of time we should do the breathing for it to be effective? I love the humming and sighing techniques. This was great. Appreciate it. Thanks, Pemra. Um, I think even like we did, even 1 minute or, 3 to 5 cycles of breath can be effective, but the longer the better, right? If you can sit and do it for 5 minutes, do it. If you can sit and do it for 10 minutes, do it. But know that you don't have to, because that's sometimes a big ask. Even if you can do it for 3 cycles or 1 minute, and you can do that more than once a day, or even once a day, you're going to start to change your breathing patterns and you're going to start to build a habit to support you. So take little tiny bites to start, do little amounts if that's more accessible, because it can still help. Like you saw, like Johanna just said, it already helped, right? So yeah, that's my answer. More is a little better, but a small amount in repetition daily can make all the difference. So even a couple minutes will do the trick.
Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
My pleasure. I'm so glad that I can help anybody in any way. Like that's what I think we're all here to do, is to, serve and help one another. We're all in this together. So it's my pleasure. And thanks for showing up for yourselves so that you can show up more for your kids and others. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Have
Thank
a
you.
great day, everyone. Bye.